when I started out in 2014, setting up Mullaney Media as a promotional video agency, I went to a marketing workshop in Galway, and the gentleman that was delivering, he said, "Where are you from, Peter?" I said, "I'm from Donegal. I'm setting up a video agency business in Donegal." "Very good, but I think it's going to be very tough to make a living." He says, "In the next 10 to 12 years, which that was 2014, and we are 2025 now, 11 years, every business, no matter if the video costs €30, €300, 3,000, 30 grand, will have a video presence." Hi, I'm Peter Mullaney, cinematographer and promotional video owner of promotional agency Mullaney Media, and I'm delighted here today to be on the Northwest podcast.
Welcome to Northwest Podcast, powered by Digital Creative Studio. Each week, we bring you inspiring conversations with entrepreneurs, creatives, community leaders, and change makers from Donegal and beyond. Please subscribe to our channel and let's dive into it.
My name is Peter Mullaney. I'm a videographer and cinematographer of Mullaney Media, a promotional video agency in the Northwest, mainly specialising in online promotional videos for the public and private sector.
How did your journey start in videography?
My journey started from the age of 8, when there was a camera called the disposable cameras. I don't know if you remember them. So I grew up in a very picturesque part of Donegal, South Donegal, in a place called Mullaney in Lahi. And Mullaney is just right on Donegal Bay. And I was very privileged that we had, lovely scenery, sunsets, a lot of fish sales. So when I was younger, my cousin came back from Birmingham in England, and I remember him taking back a disposable camera. And I started, just taking the photos and the negatives, and it kind of got me into thinking, I like that there. So I suppose with a young eye, I like to say my motto for my business, or kind of my mission statement, is I like to think I'm very creative. So creativity is a wild mind, which I think I have, and a disciplined eye. So getting back to that question, when at the age of 8, I started taking photos just of landscapes in the place I grew up in. And then I've an avid interest in filmmaking and films. I used to stay at home after school and watch the behind the scenes on DVD, bonus features, and got me interested into who was the camera operator, who was the cinematographer on, say, the latest Batman film, who was the best boy or the gaffer, so it got me into looking at things aesthetically. So I suppose my journey started at the age of 8, and my journey really got going. Luckily, I done my leaving cert, and I did not get into the GMIT, the film school, the first time after my leaving cert due to just points. But I done a PLC, post leaving cert course, actually in Galway, about half a mile down from the main college that I wanted to get into. So that gave me a great aptitude for what I was in for if I did get into GMIT. So I spent a year doing a film and documentary portfolio course, and just taking a camera out at weekends, just a big thing with my fellow friends in college, and just learning from your mistake. There's only so much I found in college. There's only so much you can learn. I think you need to get out and do it practically. So after that, then I done the 3 years in GMIT in the film and design campus in Flamora in Galway City, and I came out of it with a degree in, I specialise in documentary, which I love making documentaries and watching documentaries, and cinematography and post-sound audio. So what I learned, things like getting technical, Pro Tools, how to use cameras, lighting, stuff like that. So I came out of college and I done some work experience in Vikings, it was just a few days as a trainee location manager. I thought, maybe that's something I'd like to go into the film industry. But then I thought of it and I came back to Donegal and I spent a year just doing wee bits, wee sport videos and stuff for local theatres, and not making a living, but trying to just seen an opening that there wasn't many videographers, or I like to say I'm a cinematographer, a lot of videographers in Donegal who, a lot of the men I knew, I'd done an internship for 6 months, didn't work out, but enjoyed working with the fella that taught me a lot of stuff. And I thought, there's an opening to set up my own business, my own video agency in Donegal in 2014. And thankfully with the support of, I have to say, Louise Brogan from the DLC was instrumental in helping me seeing that there was potential in the business. And after that I said, let's go for it. So the first year, don't get me wrong, everyone goes through it, you're starting out, it's daunting. It's very daunting, and as you know yourself, as being a fellow videographer, you're thinking you set up and how are you going to make a living? But I think it's all about connection. But then the more I connect with people, and I used to meet people, I said, listen, the difference to me is I can make something that's very human, very story driven, but also make it very generic and universal. So if they make one promotional video with me, it's something that I'm going to use. They're going to use on their platforms
Yeah.
as a universal. So, getting long story short, I'm very passionate about how things look. So when I shoot stuff and light stuff like yourself, it
Yeah.
has to look good, it has to feel right. So not just the clients looks at it, but they have to feel like, okay, this fella is painting a visual picture for our business. Has to be right, has to be slick, has to be clean. And the other thing is has to have good audio, because you can get
Yeah.
away with a picture, but if the sound's bad. The one thing I learned in college was that you've only one chance of audio. If you record something the windy day, you can use the Pro Tools, you can Reaper, you can Audacity, all you want. If you can't get clear, concise
Clear
audio,
audio, yeah.
you don't have a chance. Personally, I was driven because I grew up. My mum reared myself and my sister, and unfortunately lost my late dad very young when I was 5. So that kind of, like, not having a father figure. You know, you're used to doing a lot of stuff around the house and trying to be like the man, as they say, as a young
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
But I was very quiet, and I would have stayed in the house, and as I said, I would have learned how films were made. And I used to write a lot of stories. So some of these stories, when I done script writing in college, I done really well in script writing. A lot of these stories growing up childhood, I actually put the pen to paper, and I was lucky to, I might make one of them. I think it's a very strong piece, but I'll not speak too much about that. But yeah, just growing up, I think growing up in rural Ireland and Donegal, Donegal is a big county. We are isolated, but growing up in the early 90s into early 90s, it was tough. So you have to be. I'm a self-made businessman, I think.
Yeah.
You can study all you want how to make like films, how to use cameras, but if you can't apply the trade in a creative and aesthetic manner, I think that's everything.
So tell me, what were some early challenges that you faced as a creative starting out?
Some of the challenges I faced setting up my business, working in as I say, a rural part of Donegal in Ireland as a creative. As I said first, there wasn't many doing what I was doing. There was a certain fellow colleagues I'd know, and the good thing about Donegal, every videographer, man or woman, tries to get on with each other. So when I started out, there was no kind of creative meetings, creative cluster, which there is now. Thankfully, the Donegal Film Office and the National Talent Academy has that platform. But when I started around 14, 15, it was very limited. So luckily, I got to know a few fellow creatives and people like we might collaborate. So there were certain people around Donegal that I got to know it. And one is a friend of mine, Greg Gorman. And Greg actually does some editing for me over the years. And Greg would have been a very creative driven person as well. So I would look to him if I needed, you know, when you're setting up your business and you're getting busy, but you need someone to, like yourself there, you need someone to, I'd be able to sit down and interview the client, but not be worrying about, as you say, about the visual aspect, where you'd have Greg, someone looking at the camera, but then someone to help you edit it, like put the visual piece together. You do need help. So that was the challenge. There wasn't enough people around Donegal that maybe didn't have the training or the type of skill set, but not the skill set. Everyone looks at something different. I think yourself, Coco, you look something different. I look at something, and there's no wrong way, I think, of doing something in the visual video world. Everyone looks at something different, but I think the human mind's mad. Like, the human mind is the most powerful instrument in the world, and everyone's, as I said, a disciplined mind, a wild mind, a disciplined eye, and a wild mind is creativity. And everyone has different levels of creativity, where if it's painting, music, drawing, visual. So I think not having enough people around in Donegal, that was the struggle. But the great thing is I got to know people that were similar to me.
What type of customers do you work with?
The type of customers I worked with starting out were mainly maybe small business owners with small businesses and enterprises. But the main business I try to specialize in videography, as I said, is online promotional videos for the public and private sector, which the public sector might have been HSC, state organisations like the Donegal Local Development, Inishowen Development Partnership. But I mainly specialise in online promotional videos for public and private sector, social media videos, and I think without a doubt, I'm very confident in covering events, live events, conferences, and I do know I like to when I do an event, I like to get to know the people first and the subject matter. So I'll give you an example. I done a video which is very privileged with the HC Social Inclusion Northwest Drug and Alcohol Task Force through Donna McGee. We done an event there 3 weeks ago, empowering salon professions, and there was about 12 to 14 salon owners at that event, and I interviewed them, but I didn't keep the questions the same. So they're the type of business videos I do is probably mainly the online promotional videos, but I do like working with live events and conferences and getting human stories. And also the other type of videos I do is I suppose I do like documentary styled videos as well, like we features on maybe a small business. But I really would like to get more into the TV work, the high end documentary making in the future. But to answer your question, I'm open to any people's ideas or any type of small.
Is it a choice or?
That's a good question. The first thing with choice, like, you know, I try to take on as much work as I can, and I try not to get propelled or bombarded with the type of business. But that's a good question. A choice. The first thing when you start out in the business, I suppose every business these days now after COVID and after recession, money, budget is everything.
Yeah.
But the way I try to pick my clients now, like sometimes as a videographer, when you're starting out, you'll take a job just, you know, pay the bills, pay the rent.
Yeah.
But then you need to think, is this client a good fit? Is this client, you're going to, obviously, the one thing I want to help their business, their brand awareness, but I also want to help my work. So I'm only as good as my last video. So if that doesn't work, you know, that could be a hindrance to my reputation. But that's a good choice, yeah. I try to go on, obviously budget, but I try to go with a client that really values what I do, like gets what I do, they're giving me the confidence to trust me to promote their business through a promotional video. Like, that's a big thing. Like my motto is, a video is a story. It's time to tell yours with us, Mullaney Media. So no matter how big or small the business owner or the video is, it's a story. And you've only one chance of this to get it right. So choice, at one time there would have been a choice to answer that. But now I think it's just, I'm trying to help businesses. I want to propel my business to the next level. Where I can have confidence in what I'm doing, but also obviously financially it's tough to make a career in it. But like I'm 11 years in business now, and I'd like to think I could do another 11 to 20 years. But I do love what I do. But sometimes it's trying to get the right fit, the right client that understands the value of the video is. So it takes a bit of work.
Yeah, it's now tell me, we're gonna talk a little bit about Mullaney Media. Is Mullaney Media just you, or you collaborate with others? Is it a team?
Mullaney Media, when I set up in 2014, I am still a sole trader. I like to say I'm a one-man team, but over the years, thankfully, I've expanded my clients. So I would have worked a lot around Dublin, and I've had different colleagues collaborate on projects with me. So I might have to hire a photographer. If you get very busy with backlog of edits, you'd like to have an assistant editor or an editor to take the workload. So that Mullaney Media is a one-man team, but I'm always open to like collaborating with different people, like-minded individuals, like and specialized people like yourself that specialize in motion graphics and really snappy, quirky edits. So it's nice to meet fellow collaborators in Donegal. So to answer your question, I am a one-man team, but when I need it, everyone needs help. But I think it's nice to work as a collaborative. So there is 3 or 4 gentlemen over the years that I've worked with, and ladies, which is great to have help. Because the thing about the film industry in Donegal, it's a big county, but it's very small and it's expanding. And never say that, I don't need help. If you need help, I think it looks better for your business if, like, no one knows everything, and the day you say you stop learning, especially in the creative video business, is the day you may give up. We're always learning, we're always re-educating, and collaboration is key, I think, to a successful business and a successful video.
How do you balance creativity with the technical and business side of videography?
Learning, education, taking jobs on. Sometimes, as I said at the start, to balance it, you have to think of first of the budget that maybe a client has, and maybe a type of cash flow you need to make in a certain type of month. But then a good question is, sometimes I like to do my own stuff, which would answer your question in terms of creativity. Sometimes you might have a mad idea or an idea you see potentially. Like, as I said, going through college, and I used to really like screenwriting. There's a few scripts I still haven't got to make. There's one that I'm going to work on, and I think there's great potential in it. So to answer your question in terms of how to balance creativity and the technical part as a business owner, sometimes I would take the job over from a budget point of view, technically, to run the business instead of taking something on creatively. So I think it's nice as a fellow cinematographer to take on sometimes projects that obviously inevitably might not have a budget to it, stuff that you want to do that you're passionate about. So to take that on, it's all about timing. I would really need to know I have maybe a quiet spell in my business to take that on, but to balance it creatively, it might take years or months to make the short film I have in my idea. Eventually I will make it, but I know it's going to take financial element too, so I'm going to need some funding to do that. But at the moment, the project I have in mind is a very strong emotive piece, and it's still, the script's done, but from a point of view of actually getting to the production area I want to film in and getting the right people and the creatives involved, that's going to take time. So I'm parking that and I'm focusing on my business end technically that makes money, if that answers your question.
Okay, yeah. So tell me, as a photographer, what do you think is the importance of video for companies, local companies, stuff like that?
When I started out in 2014, setting up Mullaney Media as a promotional video agency, I went to a marketing workshop in Galway, and this was a marketing workshop. That marketing was a new term, marketing for video. And the gentleman that was delivering, I can't remember his name, but delivering the course was a brilliant speaker, very articulate, but very normal.
Yeah.
And he said, "Where are you from, Peter?" I said, "I'm from Donegal. I'm setting up a video agency business in Donegal." "Very good, but I think it's going to be very tough to make a living." He says, "In the next 10 to 12 years, which that was 2014, and we are 2025 now, 11 years, every business, no matter if the video costs €30, €300, 3,000, 30 grand, will have a video presence." So to get back to your question, the importance of a business owner or an enterprise or a small company to have a promotional video to promote their brand awareness and what to do is instrumental. I think a video production and a professional video is so powerful. The one thing about the video in Donegal, why I think business owners need a video in Donegal, especially if you have a website, you can have one video that's very universal, that's timeless, that you don't have to revisit maybe in 10 years, and you can have attached that to your website and also link it to your social media platforms. And I think people, especially in Donegal and Ireland, I think we're very shy at celebrating what we do. So there's some fantastic businesses I've met over the years. Like I've met some great businesses through working through the DLDC, and it's amazing the amount of work that they do. But some people are very shy to promote that. But a promotional video is probably the most effective way of promoting what you do. You hear the person that owns the business, you see what they do, you hear maybe what their objectives are and their mission going forward. And I think if everyone has some type of video, no matter if you do it yourself or you hire creatives like Coco or Mullaney Media or any other videographers in Donegal, you need to really know first, why am I making this video? Why am I hiring a professional individual, paying them a substantial bit of money? The first thing is they need to understand what they want. And then as a videographer, I need to understand what the client wants. And then the finish element has to be very professional. It has to look real. It has to, as I said, you really need to taste and feel what the person's trying to convey in their business. So I think having a promotional video to promote what you do, is the most effective and timeless way of promoting your business. And I think in Donegal now, we're very open to creative ideas, and we're very open to video production and video brand awareness. And I think that's paramount to a successful business owner longevity, and also showcasing what they do in I suppose the most effective and concise manner is show and tell and see.
What do you think about Donegal in terms of videography or filmmaking? Do you think Donegal is growing for this kind of work here?
Donegal in 2016 was voted the coolest place on the planet by National Geographic. And that was very important, that term. In 2016, Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and the sequel, The Last Jedi, they actually shot the footage up in Malin Head, Ireland's most northerly point, in Donegal. And that was instrumental, I think, for the film industry. But to answer your question, Donegal in 2016 was voted the coolest place on the planet by National Geographic, and Donegal is an absolute dream for videographers, cinematographers to film, as you know, living here.
Yeah.
And I'm living in this country since, I'm going to give away my age, I'm living here 34 years. And luckily, I haven't had to emigrate. I'm able to make a living, and I'm married here. And it's the most inspiring place. Where I grew up in Mullaney, and you'll understand when you get to the water and you see the pier and you see the scenery and the lifeline I've seen. So Donegal is an absolute dream as a videographer in terms of landscape to work with, to film, to make a business. Like, I don't know anywhere that you can get up in the morning with your camera at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you nowhere has the beautiful sunsets I think that Donegal has. And I'm not being biased. Donegal is definitely the coolest place on the planet. It was so cool that J.J. Abrams and Lucasfilm, bought by Disney, came here to shoot probably one of the most pivotal scenes at the end of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And through the Donegal Film Office, working over the years and going to their meetings, they've done a lot of work as a creative cluster. International companies are coming to Donegal to film because they see the potential. It's probably cost effective. It's not as tough on going to maybe Galway or Dublin or Belfast in terms of tax. And there's a phenomenal crew here, and there's a lot of skilled, trained people. Like, I had to go to Galway to go to college, but the Letterkenny ATU now, in Donegal, has a film and motion graphic design course, and one of their graduates has done some editing for me over the years, and that's brilliant to see that. But as a person living in this county of Donegal in 34 years, it is the most inspiring place, from scenery, from culture, from music. We've got some of the best musicians in the world, Enya, Clannad, Daniel O'Donnell. We've got some of the most beautiful places in the world, without a doubt. Slieve League, Malin Bundoran, Ballyshannon is the oldest town in Ireland. And there's so much culture to Donegal. And I actually, in my own time, as a creative, when I have time, there's nothing like me and the wife going, taking a drive, and me going with the camera and getting some nice landscapes, because it's like a postcard. So I film Donegal like it's a postcard that I can sell, but also it's something I'm proud of. So I like to just show off like parts of where I'm from, Mundasoul, Letterkenny, Bundoran, Ballyshannon, like the southwest. Donegal. There's not one bad looking area in Donegal. It's a cameraman, it's a cinematographer, it's a videographer's dream, and as you know yourself, it's a great place to live, do work, and make a living. Economically, it's getting more, I suppose, powerful, but I think we're the one. If I could talk about one disadvantage from a film community, I don't think we're collaborating enough yet, and we should be as creatives. And the location, logistically, geographically, we are excluded a wee bit. Forgotten County, we're a bit too far from Dublin, but I think in time we hold our own. When I was studying documentary in GMIT in the film school in 2013, I was privileged to do an observational piece with a well-known Irish actor of stage and screen called Sean McGinley. And Sean is renowned for playing a lot of villains and bad guys. And Sean is from Ireland's oldest town, Ballyshannon, which is in Donegal. And Sean McGinley's piece, the interview I done with Sean, was very rewarding and very inspirational for me getting into filmmaking and choosing to create on, and interviewing someone like of caliber of an actor like Sean McGinley give me a lot of confidence in interviewing people. So one thing I like to do is sit down and interview people, and I can tell you a few tips if you like to hear a few tips. I think the most powerful way sometimes to interview people, and someone that's very nervous, to get a lot out of them. Sometimes, and I'm giving away a trade secret now, sometimes I would hit record on the camera and I would start chatting to them and I would ask them questions, because I know these people are nervous, because when you're looking at a lens, in through the lens of a camera, like I'm looking over here at the camera, it's very daunting if you haven't been in front of it. It's like looking down the barrel of the gun or the lens. So when I'm interviewing people, a few skills, I'd start chatting to them and like, where are you from? Oh, what do you do? And I'm like, right, that's great now. And they're like, did you hit record? Are we finished? No, I've got everything I need. So from an interview and skill set, sometimes it's good to tell them not that you're recording. Don't know, you might not use that, but it's just a wee tip.
How does living in Donegal influence your work?
So living in Donegal influences my work as a cameraman, as a videographer, cinematographer. From being inspired from the initial process of the pre-production, when you're going for a location scout, maybe if you're doing a wedding video, maybe with the fellow photographer, maybe if you're doing a behind the scenes video, Donegal has, without a doubt, the best landscape in the world. We're on the Wild Atlantic Way. We have some of the most stunning beaches in Ireland, maybe in the world, in Europe. We have stunning piers, sunsets, lakes, hills, farms. So when I get up every morning and I'm going to my work, I'm inspired. Whether it's a drive down to Mullaney, where I'm from, or it's a drive back to Manor Letterkenny, Malin in Ashone, Carndonagh. We go up to the south of Donegal, Kilcar, Carrick, Teelan. We have Slieve League. We have Hornhead around Muckish. We have the boardwalks. The beauty, the landscape, the culture, the music, the close-knit community. I'm a big GA supporter of my fellow county Donegal, and the Donegal manager. Every time he goes out with his players, this is the way I look at my business. If I could compare my business a wee bit to Jim McGuinness's team, in terms of any time Jim McGuinness sends the Donegal senior football team out to play against any county, we're representing the people of Donegal. So he's doing the best for the people of Donegal. And I like to say, when I'm going out to make a promotional video, especially for a business in Donegal, I'm doing the best I can, because I'm so proud of coming from Donegal and all our ancestors. There's so much history, heritage in Donegal. My own grandfather, in terms of being inspired by living in Donegal, my own grandfather actually came from Mullaney and Sligo, and he was a really good fiddle player. And his dad before him, which was my great grandfather, he was Mullaney. He could play the fiddle, sing, put the fiddle behind his back, sing and dance at the same time. So imagine the skill set them men had, learning all by ear, not by note. So I like to think, when I pick up a camera, obviously you do need some type of like tuition skill set, but when I studied in GMIT, we all learned how to film and edit and use lights. But when I came back to Donegal, I had to apply this to my business. I had to be the business owner, I had to be the invoicer, I had to be the sales pitch. I had to go out and sell what I do. And to be able to do it in Donegal, you're privileged, because there's nothing like getting into the car and driving around Donegal and seeing the beauty, and it really inspires me. And then I suppose the other thing, we're blessed in Donegal that we've a really good work ethic in Donegal, I think, especially in the northwest. From Sligo, Leitrim, Donegal, Fermanagh, Tyrone, Cavan, Leitrim and Monaghan, them particular areas, I think there's a lot of really good people there, and there's a lot of good communities, and I'm a very community driven. If anything I like to do, I do like to give back in the community. Charity is important too. So I'm heavily involved from a pastime hobby point of view. I'm involved at Donegal Kickboxing Club. And I think from a social outlet, I think as a business owner, every business owner needs some type of distraction. So I like participating in kickboxing as a social outlet, and just meeting people, and obviously working on your fitness, but also as a busy business owner, as a videographer. Like, Donegal's such a big county. Like, you can be inspired every morning you get up, but sometimes in a job, I might have, if I'm leaving the south of Donegal, say from Indore, if you had to do a job for a client in Ashone, say if you had to go to the top of Ireland, Malin, it could be like nearly 2-hour journey. So Donegal's one of the top 4th, 5th biggest county in Ireland. But there's nothing like driving around Donegal, and as I said, a cameraman's dream is working and living in Donegal. And recently I was delighted to get some mentoring through the local enterprise office in Donegal, and working with Barbara Edwards there and Michael McGinty, Mullaney Media, helped improve my SEO on my website. And we solely focused on promotional videographers Donegal. Everything on my website, SEO keyed, is videographer Donegal, because I don't want to go to Dublin to work anymore. It's the cost of living. And obviously, if you're living in Dublin, you have to put your prices up. You can't be charging, I don't like to say the word cheap in my business, less expensive. You have to have a substantial price. But be able to live in Donegal, and it might take 2 hours to get to somewhere, but as long as you can make that journey worthwhile from a financial point of view. But also, I think the big thing in Donegal is, you think it's a big county, but it's not. Like, I've worked with some of the nicest people, and I'm always learning. So I love, like, when I start a new, say, a video project, if it's about, say, cutting grass or it's cutting hair, I like to get to know a wee bit about the subject or the business owner first, and I get to know people that maybe they work with. And I think leadership is very important. So it's very lonely. Don't get me wrong. In Donegal as a business, I recently joined the Donegal Business Network. We meet the first third Wednesday of the month in Letterkenny and Ballyrane, the local enterprise office, and it's brilliant. It's meeting fellow business people, and the big thing is, like, we're self-employed. You know yourself. You're an editor. We're sitting in the house editing. Maybe in the winter, you have all your filming done. You have a deadline, but you might be editing, you know yourself, 3 or 4 videos, and you're on your own. But it's nice to meet up with other business owners and find out, like, nobody's perfect. Like, we all struggle financially. Maybe we struggle with clients. Maybe some clients want, maybe clients' expectations doesn't exceed the finished product, or maybe what they committed to. So I think having fellow business owners and like-minded meetings and social outlets is very important, and recreational, as I mentioned, being involved in martial arts, or being involved if it's golf, if it's going for a walk. I think as a business owner, especially as a cinematographer, we're always training our eye. As I said, my motive is creativity, wild mind, disciplined eye. I think that's so important to have that. Not everyone has that. I don't always have it. Like, nobody's perfect. We're always learning.
Yeah.
So I think the day you say you know everything is the day you may give up.
So, what's one lesson you've learned the hard way that you'd share with someone just starting today?
If it's one bit of advice or one lesson I've learned so far in business, the past 11 years as a business owner and as a videographer, cinematographer, cameraman, editor, sound designer, motion designer, graphic designer, I think it is patience. I do believe in the term patience is power. And if you got to know me when I was very young or coming out of school, I'm the most persistent, patient person, but also have no patience. So when I started out 2014, like, I had no work for 6 months, and I was like freaking out. I was panicking, like, this business is not going to work. But a man told me one time, patience is power. Good things do come to those who wait. So I was privileged. I learned the hard way. But I think from a video point of view, is there's so many people making videos now. Like, camera gear is so accessible to buy. Like, mirrorless cameras are so easy to buy now. When we were starting out, like, it was either DSLRs, it was cinema cameras, broadcast cameras. But now the fact that cameras are accessible, there's a lot of people starting out doing content creation, videography, and that's great. I think competition is great, because when I see competition, right, I'm going to up the ante, I'm going to up the quality, whatever about the pricing, but up the quality which you're giving to your client. But in terms of learning a lesson, patience, I think people in Donegal, when they set up a business, they think they're going to be making 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand in the first year. And that is achievable, but it's not possible. And as a videographer, I've learned the hard way of panicking and pushing maybe stuff and being too persistent. And I think patience is power. I would be a very, as I said, a persistent person, but I do take a step back sometimes. As a person, if you're really happy with your project or the end product, and it's very hard to take a step back, sometimes constructive criticism is very important for fellow creatives, and especially as a videographer, especially as an editor. I'll get back to, camera gear is easy to buy and editing software is easy to use, and you can buy Premiere Pro and you get the Blackmagic software very cheap, DaVinci and all this. But I found when I studied in GMIT editing, like, I started out in Final Cut Pro 7, it's moved to 10, 12 now. I went to Premiere Pro. I don't know if you use Premiere Pro yourself, and you probably find it accessible, the interface is easy to use or whatever. You think it's easy, but we all can, like, from a videographer point of view or an editor, it's easy to use this software, but I find editing is a jigsaw puzzle. So when a client comes to me and saying, right, listen, I want you to tell my story, okay, anyone can edit, anyone can layer footage, put voiceover to it, but I find editing it's instinct, and I edit an instinct. I don't edit on, like, technical, we need a close-up here, I need a bit of text. Okay, you might need a close-up if you're doing a 2-camera shoot, you have a side or profile or wide, but I think sometimes instinct is good if it feels right. Sometimes I turn down, I don't look at the footage. When I'm doing an interview, to give you an example, I won't look at the visual part.
Yeah.
I'll put it away. I'll look at the audio and I'll listen to it over and again, and I'll say, okay, what are they telling? What do they want to tell? So trying to tell their story. So I think editing is instinct. But definitely patience is the biggest lesson I learned, and I learned the hard way. But it's the best thing any business owner, like, never give up. I think never give up. If you do believe in something and you're passionate about it, as Nike says, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Don't let anyone tell you that's a terrible idea. You can't do that. You can do it. Like there is no can't, as they say in Rocky. you know, no man is an island is another term. I think, obviously from a financial point of view, you need to think, will it work from a cash flow point of view? But if you're really passionate about something you do, you're passionate about what you do, I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm still learning. I've had to invent myself through COVID, through branding. Like I just talked about revamping my website. A thing that I didn't learn, I should have had SEO for videography for Donegal. I want to stay in Donegal. I want to make a career in this, but I want to keep working as long as I can. And I'm very passionate about what I do, and I love what I do. And you can see I'm a very jumpy person, energetic. But I think sometimes you need that in business, and especially living in Donegal, the fact that everyone kind of knows each other. You think it's a small county, as I said, but without a doubt, patience is the biggest lesson.
It's the key,
I've learned. And maybe I'm going to ask you a question. What's the biggest? Is it something similar? Coco, have you found that patience is a virtue? Do you find it tough waiting from the creative point of view?
Yeah, I think patience is the key. It's the key.
Yeah.
It's the key. Like for everything that you are doing, if you are not patient, if you don't have if you have first the passion about that,
yes,
that's the good thing first, and then you have to be patient also about what you are doing. So you cannot start something today and expect that to be working. That they come in there. It might take 3 months, it might take 6 months, it might take 1 year, 2 years. So you have to be persistent. Yeah, I think that's the thing.
As I say, like I do believe Rome's not built in a day, because sometimes Rome's not built in a day is a key phrase, especially sometimes clients like, how fast do you want it? The first thing clients said, I need this done tomorrow. I'm like, okay, hold on. What you're looking for is monumental in terms of how me and yourself see this, taking on the project. Pre-production is for important. Sometimes I like to meet the client and sit down and have a no obligation content meeting to find out why are you making this video. The first question is like, why do you want to spend this money, or why do you want to invest in, as you say, video brand awareness? So patience is key. It's a virtue. Rome wasn't built in a day, but especially in our world and our industry, it's actually a small industry. You need to get it right. You need to do the best work you can, and you only have one shot of it. And there's another term my grandmother, my late grandmother, used to say, it takes the hatter to make the hat. So every creative, every industry to their own. Like there's a lot of people, doing videography, a lot of enthusiastic videographers, and that's grand. But like, you've only one shot at this, because when you think about it, you put up a video that maybe a client's not happy with. And listen, I've had clients who weren't happy with stuff, and that's a learning curve. We're all on a journey.
So my other question is, what advice would you give to someone, a business owner, or any individuals who would like to use video to promote his business, but he doesn't have the budget to pay for videographer? So what advice could you give him?
As a videographer, a business owner in Donegal, working 11 years, obviously budgets can be constrained. Businesses have certain budgets, they have certain marketing budgets, they have different types of the year. Especially in Donegal, a lot of our work is seasonal. Our businesses, we rely a lot on the tourism end, people coming from the country. And over the years, I've met a lot of businesses that obviously budget is the first thing they think about. And yes, it's understandable. Okay, you might meet the client and listen, they might say, Peter, unfortunately, I love what you do. I'd love for you to help me create my brand awareness through video, but budget is a problem. So sometimes I would have had a few talks with potential clients that, listen, that's okay. Maybe come back to me in 4 or 5 years if you feel it's ready. But the other thing I would do, sometimes I would give them a wee bit of advice, a wee bit of consultancy, and maybe give them advice if there's a potential of them able to make the video themselves, maybe through the usage of a phone, or buying maybe an entry-level camera like a small DSLR, very accessible to buy now, as you know. I would like try to coach them until maybe, okay, if you can't afford it now, try to get your phone, maybe mount it on a tripod, and try to take some snapshots of your business, by yourself. Now, it's very difficult sometimes to convey that, and it's very difficult for a business owner to be able to shoot their own videos. But I do think that sometimes it's worth, as a business owner, especially making promotional videos, it's nice to give back. So sometimes it's nice to give some advice. So I've had that experience over the years. I've helped a few people out, giving them advice. I've done some teaching through the Donegal local development, and I've had certain people, business owners, that would have participated in the course, like yourself, Kako, from Detailed Creative Studio, participate in my start, how to make a promotional video for small business owners through the initiative of the DLC hired me that time over a 4-week period to help people, show them how to make a video on their phone. And I think that's very rewarding. And I like educating myself, but I also like to give back and teach, because I would like to get into the teaching element. So if you can give the people a wee bit of confidence, and obviously, as you said, budget can be problems for people. So if I can give back something back, it will be to maybe coach them and maybe direct them on how to make their own video with the easiest access. I'm talking a phone, a small phone, maybe an entry-level camera. You don't need to go and spend big money, but you can coach people into how to do it right and have make it sound good. I always find sometimes people do voiceovers for me to maybe in a video they can't participate on the day of shoot. I want to record the audio. I said, well, you know what? Do it in the car. What do you mean? If you can get a quiet space, do it in the car, because the sound's closed in. It's nearly like, a vinyl carpet. If you can record it yourself in your car, there's a load of ways for people to learn how to make video, create some content on their phone. But I think from a point of view of, I would like to think that I could give something back. Now, I'm not always going to be available to do that, but I think a certain business owner I get and I understand, and I like helping. I do like to give them a wee bit of coaching and help them out, and it's nothing better than seeing someone say, I done that video myself and thank you for your guidance. Like that's a very rewarding part of hearing that back from an advice point of view.
So what does success mean to you as a videographer?
Success for me, one of my mottos is, as a business owner in Mullaney Media, a video is a story, time to tell yours with us. So I treat every client with the same type of respect in terms of seeing their project or their ideas as a story. So when I get some feedback from a client saying, delighted with the video, but thank you very much, this video I can utilize for the next 10 years, it's timeless, it's universal, that means a lot. And I suppose the big one is, thank you very much for making the video. You got what I wanted. You got my business. You got what I meant. You know what I wanted. I suppose there's a good bit of trust and confidence in that. The people trust you. Like they're putting their business actually in the palm of your hands or your eye or your ear, and they're letting you, creatively direct this, but also you're taking their business, hopefully you like to think, and I do believe, the next level in terms of investing in a promotional video, whatever bit financially, but trust and having the confidence to hire me, not just as a business owner, but as an individual, someone they trust, in terms of they know that I'm going to do the best I can. I'll strive to the best I can to promote their awareness, their brand, but also I'm telling the story as them, from their point of view and their perspective as a human being, about how powerful their business is. So I think that is probably the most rewarding part. Financially, everyone needs to make a living in any country or any business, and cash flow is important. But I think to getting good feedback and someone saying that, you got what I wanted, you got what I needed, and also the trust and confidence in hiring me as a business owner, but also as an individual on a human level to represent their story, it means a lot to me as a business owner, and I like to continue doing that, and I like to think I'll be doing this for another 30, 40 years before I can get the pension.
All right, Peter. Thank you for coming on our podcast and share your story with us. We are at the end of this episode. Do you have any last word that you would like to leave us with?
The last word I would leave with the Northwest podcast is, don't give up. Either if you're a creative, you're a business owner, you're an enthusiast trying to get into filmmaking, if you're an aspiring filmmaker, an actor, Samuel Beckett says it, fail better the next time. So don't be afraid to fail, because when you fail, you learn and you have to educate yourself and you have to get better. And nobody knows everything. And the day, as I said, the day you say you know everything, especially in this business, one of the last words is the day you say you know everything is the day you may give up, because we're always learning. And I think the day you say you'll never know what you want to know is important. I think fail better, as they say, as Samuel Beckett says, that there's a lot to that, because we're always failing. I think you learn more when you fail if something doesn't work out than like Ireland, especially in Ireland in this county. I don't think we reward ourselves enough. Like, we don't acknowledge ourselves enough, and especially men in Ireland, as business owners, as people, don't acknowledge the good things they do. So I would leave the last word, fail better the next time. We're always going to make mistakes, and especially in this business, you're always learning. But enjoy what you do and don't take it too serious. Business is serious, especially the videography world. It's so competitive. There's so many people doing it, but don't take it too serious, because if you're too serious of a person, that's not the type of attraction a client wants. What I've learned over the years is don't take it too serious, but also you have to be serious, but add a bit of humor and, relax. Life is a breeze. Sometimes it's not, but I think people are hard on themselves. So the last word I would say as a business owner, as a cinematographer, is you have to be creative. Creativity is a wild eye and a disciplined mind, and never lose that creativity and just do your best. That's all we can do. And I'd like to thank yourself, Coco, for having me on this podcast. It's been very rewarding, and it's nice to sit down and have a chat with a fellow, a very talented filmmaker and editor. And I wish you all the best. And I would highly recommend any creative, from art, film, music, dance, drama, business owners, to get on this podcast, because I think this gentleman here has given you a phenomenal platform to promote yourself, and also just have a sit down conversation and just express yourself and just relax and just show what's going on in this beautiful county, and especially the area of the Northwest and Donegal. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter.